how do you teach your students to answer formative assessment questions honestly?
It's tricky at first, but once they get into the routine of answering honestly, it works perfect. So the number one thing I always did was you have to build a classroom of respect, that the students realize and become comfortable really in the classroom that their answer is not going to be shared with anybody else, that their answer is truly to give me as the teacher a better understanding of where they are. So I know if they need more help, if I know that they're secure in the skill being taught, that it's between the two of us. I'm never going to tell the other kids. Nobody's going to be able to, say anything to them because it's all anonymous. And that's the biggest thing we'll learn in the next module with the different polling devices, is that it should be anonymous. The students do not need to know what another child picked. It's also tricky because they talked about it, if they're working in their little group and discussing the question first, to teach the kids that just because their friend said the answer is B does not mean that their friend is right. And that they need to really think for themselves. And again, in the beginning, that shy, quiet kid is probably going to go with the rest of the group. And just because they said it's B, they're going to pick B. And over time, they'll learn that that doesn't benefit anyone. So it's a gradual process, but getting them comfortable and again, building respect that they can trust you with their answers and that your answer is really just to help them. It's not graded. It's just to build on the next lessons on where they need.
Yeah, and I used to say to the students that this is a way for everyone to raise their hand and answer at the same time. So, because the other problem that you have, especially with younger students, is they want to just holler the answer out. Mm-hmm. So they may, be responding, putting in the letter C, but then also yelling out C. So that takes a little bit to get used to for them to stop doing it, because as soon as they see whatever way you're going to share the results, then they know, okay, my voice is being heard, so just keep reiterating that this is a way for everyone to raise their hand and answer at the same time, but we all see the information, in a presented fashion. The other thing too is, especially since our questions are all multiple choice, they're not giving them the option to not answer. We also don't want them to just guess or just go along with what the rest of their group does. Because if they all get it right, well, I'm not going to go over the question and we're going to move on. So you need to give them some way to be able to not answer, whether it's there can be an answer choice E that's I don't know or unsure, or you set up some other kind of system where if they're using a handheld responder, maybe they turn it upside down, or some way that they can quietly signal to you that they aren't going to answer. And when you're missing answers, looking at your results, okay, those students were unsure. So maybe 16 students answered and 14 of them got the correct answer, but you had another 4 who didn't answer at all. So you think to yourself, okay, I really do need to go over this because I really had 6 students who didn't know the right answer. So just think about the way you can let them be able to do that. If it were a number answer that you were having the students put in, sometimes I would have them put 00 in, and then okay, that person needs help and didn't want to just guess. So just something to think about when you figure out what system you're going to use, and learn more about that in the next module.
And it might seem kind of basic, but really just letting the kids know the importance of answering honestly, not just to answer honestly, but why it is that we need everybody to answer honestly, because when they answer honestly, that's when we have a really good indicator, like you were saying, Melissa, of when to go over the answer and when to just quickly move on. So it's helpful just for them to learn that by answering honestly, I'm doing myself a favor and I'm doing all the other kids in the class a favor, because if we need to go over this answer, my teacher won't know it if I'm just answering what everybody else is answering.
And obviously, we're not going to identify or call out a student who doesn't know. It's all anonymous. And kids can learn very quickly that they can take a risk. And that's really important for them to learn too, is to say what they think is the right answer. And there's nothing to lose and a lot to gain if they just answer honestly. It's setting up those basic routines. And you will find if you do that early in the beginning of the year, the rest of your year will go much more smoothly.
And that's actually just a great life skill in general, to teach kids that it's okay. You don't have to always agree with everybody else. It's okay to voice your opinion, and you know, for others to know that it's also okay if someone doesn't agree with you. So yeah.
Melissa touched on like sharing the results after the question, and my kids also, I feel like it's kind of like a sigh of relief when they saw, oh, other kids got it wrong. Or, you know, I might get it wrong this time, but the next one I got right and other kids got wrong. So it's okay. Like, other people make mistakes and need help as well.